Hello, welcome back to Just Opinion Media Review, and today's game is Hogwarts Legacy. So first off, if you hear the cat in the background, he likes to start talking to me because I think he thinks I'm talking to him. So if he starts meowing, in the other videos if you guys watched, he just comes walking in. Alright, so let's get to the game. So I'm not going to be super detailed on this game. There's a lot of things that I just don't quite understand. Just, I think if you're a Hogwarts Harry Potter fan, you'll understand a lot of it. But, I mean, you don't need to be. So, I'm just going to kind of give kind of the plot and then just, opinion of the game. So you start off as you're a fifth year student and you're being brought to Hogwarts by Professor Fig. And I remember his name because it's easy and I like the name Fig. And you get attacked by a dragon, and dragons, I guess, don't really attack people unless provoked or something like that. So you guys fall out. Like, he teleports, Fig teleports you to like some place, and then you find out it's like a dwarf kingdom or whatever. I don't quite know. And you go through the doors, and then somehow you end up at Hogwarts. You get sorted. You get to choose your. You get asked like one question, and then you get sorted to a house. And if you don't like that house, you can sort yourself. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he not Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and he's like, well, that's for like intelligent people or something like that. And I was like, well, what are the type of houses? And he's like, well, it's loyalty, which is Hufflepuff, intelligence, Ravenclaw, determination, like Slytherin, and courage for Gryffindor. I was like, well, I think I'm probably more of the four. I'm probably more Hufflepuff. So I chose the loyalty and I went with Hufflepuff. And I think he told me that there is side quest for each house. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't really interact with my classmates too much. So throughout the game, there's roadblocks, but they don't quite tell you that there's roadblocks. So Professor Weasley, she's like, okay, all your professors are gonna give you extra classes, so you can learn these spells, so you can catch up. Because guess what? You're a fifth year, and all these other students have had 4 years, I think, of training. So all this stuff that you're learning, you're gonna have to get it all done within the fifth year, or within this year. So you go out, and you're just kind of like, Fig tells you don't go talk to anybody. And so throughout the game, you can choose who to tell what information. If you want to tell them the information, I don't think it really matters. I only played one playthrough, and I think you get to meet. I think there's like three characters. Like, I know Sebastian's one, Poppy's another one, and I didn't interact with the last girl. She reminded me of somebody, and I was just like, I don't really want to do your quest. And first of all, Hogwarts, and I've only seen the first two movies, I believe. I've read all the books, well, all the mainline books, not any of the newer ones, but Hogwarts is beautiful. I mean, you walk around, there's fast travel points, but most of the time I just chose to just walk around, because Hogwarts is just, they put a lot of care into building this place. I should say this, I looked it up, I googled it. This place takes place in 1890, and Harry Potter takes place in 1990. So it's about, it's 100 years, so you're not going to see everything like that's in Harry Potter, but I think the majority of stuff, like the bathroom scene, I believe my coworker said he found the Chamber of Secrets, but you can't go in it because technically you're not supposed to know about the Chamber of Secrets. I can't confirm or deny, but I'll take his word on it. I think he did like 2 playthroughs or 2 to 3 playthroughs, so I'll take his word on it. So you also find out. Oh, so while you're attacked, you can see ancient magic, and only certain people can see ancient magic. So this puts you on a quest for the 4. I don't know if they're. I think they're the founding fathers of Hogwarts, or they're just 4 professors. I'm not 100% sure on it. Again, not a big Harry Potter fan, so but they're like, oh, so there's also this guy Ragnarok. He's a I'm gonna say, I always want to call him elves, but he's a dwarf, goblin. He's a goblin, and he hates all humans. You find out that he was returning a wand that one of the wizards had lost, and the wizards kind of just beat the shit out of him. And ever since then, he's like, I gotta get revenge on these guys. So he's out trying to harness this orb, but we don't know what his orb's at. And if he gets it, then it's like kind of doomsday. So these 4 professors are like, well, you see them one at a time. They're like, oh, do this challenge, and then we'll prove that you're the right one. And when you get done with these challenges, you start seeing backstory to these 4 professors, and you find out there's a girl, and she can see ancient magic as well, and she transfers to Hogwarts as a 5th year, and she's kind of like, hey, we need to use this wizardry for something greater. We need to take pain away from people, and because her father is sad because her brother died at a young age, and ever since then he's just been kind of depressed. And the professor was like, we can't really do that magic because there's consequences to doing that magic. And she kind of keeps pushing back. And so as you're getting these quests done, you're kind of seeing what's happening. And she progresses to, I believe she's working with a goblin. And I don't know if it's, I don't know which goblin it is, but he's providing the stuff. And then she creates this giant orb that has all these people's soul. I don't know if it has their souls, but it has like all their depression and stuff. But the problem is that kids kind of walk around like zombies, so they end up killing her. But like I said, you find this all out, and while you're doing that, you're also doing quests for these other people, like Sebastian. His quest I did the most because I really like Sebastian. You probably seen it in the video a couple weeks ago about like, this is what happens when you go down the dark path. So Sebastian has a sister, and she was cursed, and he believes she was cursed by a goblin. So you're trying to find this dark magic to rid her of this curse. But he also has a friend, and I can't think of what his friend's name is off the top of my head, but he's kind of like, hey, no, don't go down this road, because once you go down this road, and we find you're not gonna like it. And we find out his backstory that he kind of went down this road, and I think he ended up hurting somebody or killing somebody, and he's like, that's enough, I'm not doing that ever again. And he's also a Slytherin, so his family line's like, no, you're gonna do it, you're going down this road, you're gonna be a pureblood. And so you end up fighting. You get, there's really not much of consequence, because regardless if you do it or not, Sebastian's will go down this path, and he ends up killing his uncle. So his parents end up dying, and his uncle's kind of like, like, hey, no, we're not doing this shit. And like I said, Sebastian's ended up getting the orb, or not the orb, but this aura, and he ended up snapping, and then, like it says, his uncle attacks him, and he ends up killing Sebastian ends up killing his uncle. So that was like kind of one quest that I went down, which I thought was kind of interesting. And you can choose if you want to trial him or not. I chose to trial him because, I'm like, dude, you're not supposed to go down this path, dude. Even though I'm like, I'll learn these abilities with you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I want the abracadabra or whatever the ability is to kill somebody. But no, you did a bad thing. So his quest ends up getting done towards the end. And then I was doing Poppy's, and her quest line is a bunch of poachers and stuff. And I found it kind of interesting to begin with because she's kind of like the girl who's like she's gonna end up dead because she's just so like trustworthy of creatures. Like she's like, oh, let's take this egg back, this dragon's egg. And so you get to a ring, underground ring where a bunch of dragons are fighting, and when she's like, oh, we should free this dragon that's being held captive. And I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, you're probably gonna do it regardless if I say yes or no, so let's just do it. In my head, I'm like, dude, you're gonna fucking die. And so we end up freeing the dragon, and the dragon like attacks us, and I'm like, oh, see. And then we find the dragon's egg, and then Poppy's like, we should take the egg back to the dragon. I'm just like, oh my god, you want to die, don't you? So we end up taking the egg back. The dragon sniffed, the dragon's like fighting us. And so at this time, I'm like almost overpowered. So I'm just like tanking these shots of just fireballs coming at me from the dragon. And then we go into like the forbidden forest, and then she's like, oh, we gotta find the centaurs to help us stop these poachers. And that's when I kind of lost interest, because like the centaurs come up and they're just like, oh, we hate humans, or we hate wizards. And I'm like, I see your point. Wizards are kind of dicks, so that's kind of what I put where I stopped with her quest. And like I said, with the other character, I'm just kind of like, I'm just getting vibes of one of my people I know, and I'm just like, I just don't want to do it. So you end up, doing all the challenges, and at this time, Ragnarok is. Oh, and to follow up with the Sebastian story, whoever's working with Ragnarok, one of the wizards, he's the one that cursed his sister. So it's kind of like, you're kind of a goblin racist over here, Sebastian. You thought I was a goblin, but no, it was actually another wizard. Ragnarok gets under the orb is under Hogwarts, and he has a drill, and he, steals the orb, and I think he turns into a dragon or something like that. So you have to fight him. And prior to that, or after you beat, before you fight Ragnarok, Professor Friggs asks you, what are you gonna do with this orb? Are you gonna tell people about the orb, or are you gonna keep the orb to yourself? I'm kind of like, well, people probably should know about this orb, but it's gonna be a case by case basis. Like, we're just gonna kind of slowly. Like I said, I don't know if there's really any right answer, and like I said, I don't know what this orb is. Like, it gives you some type of power, but I wasn't quite clear on what the power was. Again, I think if you know lore or backstory of Harry Potter, you might have a better understanding than what I did. So I just chose, like I said, we'll do a case by case. And then like Ragnarok attacks, takes orb, turns into a giant dragon. You fight him, and you end up beating him. And Professor Fig, you finally get the wand. So his sister kind of started this quest. You never meet her sister. She dies. I believe she dies from Ragnarok, and so Professor Fig gets to die in the very end of the game. Professor Black's like, yeah, Fig was a hero, and he helped save Hogwarts. And then there's a final quest. I think it to be like level 35, and towards the end, there's only 40 levels, and towards the end, I mean, the levels get kind of like, I mean, you're grinding. It's like a slow, it's like, oh my god. So I was like, I think I was like 30. I was done. And what I was told by my coworker is that at the very end, you have like throughout, classic Harry Potter, all the houses are getting points. So I think you get like towards the end, you get like 100 points, and you end up winning whatever house you chose. So overall, I thought the game was pretty good, and I'm not my score on this game. As much as I want to give it a 5, there wasn't a lot of glitches, but as a gamer, I've played a lot of different games. There's not really. I'm kind of used to there's not a lot of enemy variety, and through most of this, you're fighting poachers, goblins, and like beasts, like spiders, stuff. Spiders, wolves. No, they're not titans. Whatever. Orcs. Fighting like those. So, you play this game, and this game's like long. I mean, I think I clocked in about 30 hours, and and then like every time you beat a chapter, they add more stuff, more collectibles. So like when I'm like, oh cool, I'm almost done with all these collectibles, like, oh hey look, there's more there, and there's different areas now you can go, and it's like, oh my god, okay, it's like I'm at 15 hours. My standard of time is about 20 hours. Like that's kind of where I kind of draw a line. Like, if we get 20 hours, great. After 20 hours, if it's still fun, I'll go to like 30 or however long it takes. But I mean, it's got to be like, I'll start wrapping this up, and so I will give it a 4. It's probably one of the best games as of this recording. One of the best games that has came out that I've played. There's also like glitches, which is common. I had a bug where Sebastian, and like I said, you guys have probably seen the video if you watched it, where Sebastian, so what happens is he falls off the ledge, and then the game's trying to reset him, but it's like slamming him into the wall, and then the whole time he's just getting slammed, and so he'll be behind me, but he's like, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, just is this game gonna reset him at all? And once I get to the very end of the cave, he ends up dying. The game's like, oh, finally, we're at the end. Okay, he's dead. And then you have to sit there and be like, oh, talk to Sebastian. Oh, cool. Well, he's dead. So I mean, I got lucky and just had to reload a save, and it ended up resetting it. So, but otherwise, that would have been like a bug where it's like, oh my god, go through this damn cave again, finding spiders and all that stuff. Like I said, there's also I think people have speculated that there was choices that you might have been like, either go like evil or you go light or dark choices, and I don't think really any of the choices matter. I think whatever you choose, regardless of what you choose, that thing's going to happen, which is not a deal breaker. But it's definitely interesting what would happen. I think if you, like I said numerous times in the review, if you're a Harry Potter fan, I think you will love this game. They taken the time and care. I mean, just walking around Hogwarts, I was like, oh, it got me into a kick, So I went to Walmart and I saw the Fantastic Beasts, all 3 movies, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'll watch it. And just kind of seeing some of the things, I'm like, oh, this, it's like, oh, I know that from the game. It's like, that's pretty cool. It's almost, it's not a lot of games will represent, hey, you finally woke up. Not a lot of games, not a lot of media does that in general, where it's like, it's like, yeah, you look around, it's like, oh, that's kind of like what it's in the movies, but this, is like, damn, they really took the time. And I know I wanted to wait towards the end of the video to say this, not up front. Maybe I'll say it up front. You can play this game even if you don't support J.K. Rowling. Just play this game. I mean, they have a trans character. They have a lot of characters of a lot of different race characters. I believe I'm pretty sure that there's same-sex characters. This game is more I don't want to say a middle finger to J.K. Rowling, but this game, I mean, this is a fucking good game, and I never once felt like they're telling me like, oh, trans lives don't matter, stuff like that. I mean, because one of the characters, even though I didn't bring it up in the review, this character is a trans character, and you can choose to go talk to this character. I mean, they have you interact with them, and then you after that you choose if you want to continue going on their quests and stuff. And this character defends you. I mean, so like you're gonna be attacked by a bunch of like dark wizards, and this character like puts her life out there to protect you. So I mean, this game is play this game. If you're a Harry Potter fan, if it makes you feel better, donate to charities, but don't let one person ruin the experience you can have with this game. This game is, I would say, probably one of the best games to share like media with, like the movie world with the game world. And like it's one of the games. It's a really good game. So with that being said, I don't think there's a lot of quests that I thought were kind of interesting. I really liked the quest where you fought this it's if you've seen the Fantastic Beasts, it's like a common it's one of the common beasts that Newt carries around with him, and like shiny things. So I was like, that quest was kind of fun, where he's like, this guy's like, yeah, it was my sister who took my stuff, and it's like, nope, it was this I think it's Patamon or something, I don't know, but it was a fun quest. Flying, I should say there's flying in this game. You can fly on a broom, it's not Hufflepuff, maybe it's Hufflepuff. No, Hufflepuff's it's a hippogriff. Something. Leave in the comments below if you got this far. And then there's like some like tiger-looking creature or something you can ride on, and like that stuff's fun. The flying is all right. It's not the best, but I mean it's doable. I don't know. The game, just walking around Hogwarts is just is so cool. It's like I think I was at 10 hours before I even saw the dining hall, because it was that the area is just so big. I was just doing quests and stuff like that, and a lot of the characters too, if you do their quests, when they get done, there's this girl I did a quest for, and her she had like it's not fart balls, but they put out a smell, and the kids had hit them everywhere. So I went around and grabbed them, and and she walks off, and she goes up to where the dining hall's at, and then you have to wait a day or something like that. But and she's like, oh hey, thanks, I'm having fun playing this game. It's like, that's kind of cool. Like a lot of games, characters just kind of walk off, and then they just, you don't see them again. Outside, out of mind. But this game, I didn't do this for every single quest, but just a certain quest where I was like, oh, cool. There's a follow-up, because sometimes I like seeing follow-ups to different quests. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. It was fun. It's long, which is a pro and a con at the same time, where it's like, oh damn, there's a lot of games coming out. Oh my god, okay, this is fun, but let's start wrapping it up. I hope you guys enjoyed. I never know how to end these things, so I'm just gonna end it now.
Safety. Chatter between friends.
Providing perhaps
That's
a
all.
rather unfortunate lesson for us all.
No.
His devotion
Here to try again?
to adventure was rivaled only by his dedication to Hogwarts. And of course,
I think I should have a rest.
to his wife,
Try
Mary.
again later.
Of course.
MIDI,
This time trial is all about
who
quick reactions and
we
focus.
lost much too soon as well. Yeah.
Professor Fig represented the best of all of us. He could be deviously clever, possessed a brilliantly inquisitive mind, and was the most loyal of friends. But perhaps it was his remarkable courage, for which we will all be forever indebted to him. If not for Professor Fig, well, I can say with confidence that if not for him, many of us, let alone Hogwarts, would not be here today. Those that knew him best will agree that we must now honor him as only Hogwarts can, by wisely, resourcefully, justly, and bravely facing all that lies ahead.
To Professor Fig!